growing up has always come with emotional challenges, but in recent years, there have been growing concerns about the state of mental health among kids in this country. Before the pandemic, the CDC found that 1 in 5 children in the U.S. had a mental health disorder. But at the height of COVID infections back in 2021, data showed more than a third of high school students were feeling an impact on their mental health, and 44% reported feeling persistently sad or hopeless. Their statistics Laura Morton saw up close as she watched her daughter Sevi suffer from severe anxiety. Her experience ultimately inspired Laura's new documentary, Anxious Nation.
I was like hyperventilating. I was like, I can't breathe. I don't know what's going on. And she was like, I think you're having a panic attack.
Anxiety is like worrying about your shadow.
I just want to scream and being really upset, and you just kind of start spiraling.
You know, I pray about it, I think about it. I'm like, what can I do? What's the next solution? How can I help him?
Laura Morton and her daughter Sevi join me now. Thank you so much for both joining us. Sevi, I want to start with you, and first, thank you so much for sharing your experience both in the documentary and joining us now. I know it's always difficult to talk about, but I just want to start with you and ask, can you tell me what it's like, what you're feeling when you're having a panic attack, and how our audience might help understand what's going on with you and with others?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so for me personally, when I'm having a panic attack, and there's multiple clips in the film, I just cry. I cry and I cry and I cry, and I spiral into this whole just emotion wave of just crying, overthinking, tensing up. And it's just something I can't hold back.
Laura, I share this with permission. We have a lot of anxiety. We have severe OCD in our family. I almost felt like you had a camera in my home as we were watching the beginning of your film, showing these brave kids and their families sharing what they're going through. You know, I know there's a number of folks sitting at home right now watching, saying, look at what's wrong with these kids today? They've got everything in the world. I grew up, my parents were in the Great Depression. My parents lived through the Holocaust. They have all the things that they need in the world. Why are they anxious? What would you say to those folks?
Well, what a great question, Sue, and thank you for asking that. I think that it's really important that we understand, and this was one of my biggest aha moments in making the film, is that what our kids are feeling today is very real for our kids. I think anxiety has always been around. We've had different names for it throughout different generations, right? We've had rambunctious little boys. We've had nervous little girls. So I think that anxiety is not new. It's been around since the beginning of time. I think that we understand it a little bit better today. The most surprising audience for our Anxious Nation has been grandparents, because they are really struggling with watching their kids now raise their kids. And I think one of the things that we have to understand is that we have this generation of really anxious parents who never coped with their own anxiety. And now they're raising their kids, and they don't want their kids to feel the way they do. They don't want their kids to be hurting the way they do.
I want to get to the anxious parents too, Laura, but I also want to ask this question, and Sevi, maybe you have an opinion on this as well. As I say all the time, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and growing up in the 70s feels like it was an entirely different planet. The numbers support drinking, not as big a deal with kids. Obviously, you know, addiction issues are a major deal. I don't want to downplay it. But kids today, as we like to say, not drinking as much, not partying as much, not driving as much, not having as much sex, not doing the sort of self-harm that many of us did in our adolescence, in our middle school years. So that should be good news. But I'm wondering, Laura, was that maybe a way that we were self-medicating and self-treating ourselves with some of the same issues that teenagers are having today?
You know, Sue, I'm not an expert. I'm a mom of an anxious child, so I can't speak to that specifically, but I can tell you that in my opinion, I think that we've always found ways, if we're not feeling, you know, comfortable in our own skin, I think their escapism is always something that we've turned to. I think, you know, we open our film with exactly what you just said, that that in the past, you know, pregnancy, drinking while driving, drug use, that was always a very big issue and concern. And that has gone down significantly over the last 30 years. And what we're seeing are these soaring rates of mental health issues among our youth. And there's a variety of reasons for that.
I want to throw to another clip of a family who shares in your documentary. It's Jackie Ramsey speaking with her daughter Cooper about her anxiety.
Well, sometimes I'm afraid you'll get mad. Like when I did bad on that audition, you're just like, Cooper, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
I worry that it's a reflection on me. I also kind of feel that I would nail every audition. They seem really easy to me. Here I am spending all the time and the energy and the financial commitment on therapy and this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you let your anxiety win.
Sevi, I'm going to go to you. This actually is from my real life. I just want to let you know that I can't tell you how many times I've said that to my daughter. She recently showed me a TikTok of a kid who was showing all the things his mother did in high school, and then showed that he spends his day just staying in the house, you know, and that he can't compare to his mom. Can you talk about how it feels for your generation to have the parental generation so up in your business that we are looking at even the parent who thinks they're hands off is like, we're way in there. How does it feel for you?
Right. I think, I think just some parents don't understand exactly what's going on especially because of the introduction of social media. Our parents didn't grow up like that. So I think, when it comes to, especially social media, actually, when it comes to having, like social media and dealing with the issues that come along with that, I just don't think parents really understand. And it doesn't mean that that's a good or bad thing, but I think it's just we are growing up in such different times.
Laura, that's a great example, that clip of what you were saying with Jackie's anxiety, right? And the anxiety that we have. I always say that when we become parents, we want to raise ourselves. Unfortunately, we don't get ourselves. We don't get ourselves in the time that we were in, right? We don't get a child from the 1960s. We get someone in the new century. What did you learn making this film about the generation of parents with all of our anxiety, and what are the experts telling you about what we should be doing with that?
Sure. First, I want to say I think it was very brave of Jackie to leave that scene in the film. And she is not alone. She is not the only parent that talks to their kids that way. We see it all the time at the soccer field, the baseball field, swim meets, auditions and, theater and things like that. So I think it was really brave. And I think it's really brave of you to say that happens in your house. So that's, that was the whole point and purpose of putting the material in the film that we did. We wanted families to feel seen and heard. And we wanted them to know they're not in this alone. And that's how I felt when I made this film. I think for me, my biggest aha was really understanding that my daughter needs to be who she is, not who I want her to be. And I think as parents, we're well-intentioned. And we think we're offering our kids great advice by saying, you should go to law school, you need straight A's. Maybe that's not their calling. And, I feel like for so many parents, I think taking a step back and just letting our kids, bloom where they're planted and blossom into who they want to become. And I think that there's just a great need for that, not only, to us as parents, there is no such thing as a perfect parent. And we certainly show that in this film, including myself. But there also is no, there's no escaping that our kids are struggling. I think we really need to stop and listen and have a better understanding of what this feels like for them. You started off this conversation by saying, there's a whole generation of parents who are like, I don't get it. What's so hard about life today? Life is hard today. And the reaction that our kids are having is a natural response to this mayhem that they're living through.
So Sevi, you hear your mom say that, and you hear people say, you just grow where you are, but then you go on social media, and no matter how hard you try to edit what you see, you are bombarded with images of people sharing things that have been airbrushed and use filters and have lighting and are professionally done, and they're saying, hey, I just woke up this way. How does that conflict work with you trying to stay emotionally healthy?
Well, body image and beauty standard has definitely been a big challenge in my life. really when I hit the age 11, 12, 13, that's when it really all started. I think it's difficult for girls, especially my age, to be going on Instagram and to be seeing all these beautiful celebrities that are, yes, they're beautiful, but like also there's so much behind the scenes that we don't understand and we don't think about in the moment. We're just like, why can't I look like that? And I think it's a really difficult thing to comprehend, because it's getting just so like real looking, but it's not.
Laura, in the documentary, of course, you address not only the challenges of the folks in your film, but there are, the disparities between folks of brown and black, African American, urban, rural. It's not easy for anyone, and it's more difficult for some. And at the same time, I think we all know from personal experience, psychiatrists and therapists not taking insurance, the out-of-pocket expense, easily, $300-400 a month. So only certain constituencies are able to get help after a 6-month or 12-month wait list to see a psychiatrist. What are the experts telling you about how this disparity and these challenges for everyone can be addressed?
I think that there's a lot of work that we have to do. I think this has been the proverbial kicking of the can for decades in this country. For the richest country in the world, we are definitely failing not only our youth, but all of us who are in need of this kind of care right now. We have criminalized mental health in this country. If you're walking down the street and you have a heart attack, they're calling you an ambulance. But if you're walking down the street and you have a psychotic break, they're calling the police. And, Rikers Island is one of the largest mental health facilities in the country, and Rikers Island is a prison. It is not a mental health facility. So I think we have a lot of work to do. We don't provide resources. We do, certainly, and one of the, really for me, it was very eye-opening when I was interviewing Dr. Kenya Hamid, who had been working in Flint, Michigan for many, many years, working with families who were, going through a lot during the water crisis. And it was very eye-opening for me to hear her say there were no resources, no school nurses, no school counselors, nowhere for these kids or families to turn. And they have to make a choice between putting food on the table, paying their rent, or getting their kid help. And I think that we have to do better in this country. I think we need to demand better, but substantive change needs to start with us. It's systemic in our home, and we need to take control of the issue within our home. I think so many families look to the schools to solve the problem, and the schools aren't equipped. And the schools say, hey, it's a family problem. And, as long as we keep pointing, it's you, we're not going to make any progress. I think there's a lot of work to do. And it's really what I'm dedicated to as I move forward in talking about not only Anxious Nation, but a movement around it.
Well, Laura Morton, Sevi Morton, thank you so much for joining us. I certainly direct folks to the film, and I appreciate and salute your bravery and transparency, sharing your struggle and your achievements. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.